Hello everyone, welcome back to Vivid Earth. Anina here for a topic that I really wanted to discuss today that is on my mind and that I feel is rather urgent. I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but I really think this is important because I've noticed in the last few days that there is an active campaign underway to mislead well-intended spiritual people in this community, in the truth community, in the galactic starseed, UFO communities, super soldiers, all of these topics that I know many of you are interested in. I've just seen a ramp up and an increase in counterintelligence, disinformation, misinformation, infiltration, which I think is really important to talk about. I know it's not a pleasant subject, but I really feel like it is important because I'm getting things sent to me now, people asking, but what about this and what about that? That I just really feel is actually designed to bring our frequency down during the spirit, because you must understand the controllers, the cabal, that are sort of grasping for their last breath on this planet. They are panicking big time. The frequency of the planet's been rising steadily. We've had a lot of energy hit the planet over the last couple of weeks, especially in the last week, enormously so. We're about to enter a portal now, well, today, the 6th of the 6th, which will be open until 21st of June on the solstice, which I feel is very, very important for us to keep our momentum going, keep raising our frequency, because this is almost like where you catch like a slipstream. You are, I don't know, on a bicycle behind a truck and you just grab onto that truck and you follow the slipstream. This is what we're in right now. And there is an attempt to slow down our speed, okay? This quantum leap that we're taking forward. And I just wanted to warn people about this infiltration. And I'm not going to name names today, okay, because I don't want to be attacked. And also, I don't think it's helpful. It's for each one of you to really practice discernment and develop your own intuition so you know who you're supposed to listen to and who not. What resonates, what doesn't. And that's really the point. You know, does it resonate with you? Yeah, as I say, I've seen a ramp up of this, and I'm not going to go into names, as I said, but I will kind of describe different scenarios in case that kind of resonates with you. And you're more than likely, a lot of people on here will probably know what I'm talking about. I just have to mention my camera I'm on my Zoom camera, okay, so I'm looking a little bit fuzzy, and I'm also not using my mic because my battery is on life support. My computer, my laptop battery is on life support, so I can't even plug in other stuff right now. It's going to take about 2 hours to charge, and I just didn't want to wait with this transmission. I think it's really, really important, and I wanted to get it over to you guys as soon as possible. So yeah, I've got a crappy camera and a crappy mic today, but hey, we're going to get the message across, and that's what's important, right? So I always knew we were going to reach this point where things will start revealing itself. The truth will come to light. There's been so many people over the last few years that have just, brought forth stories of contact, galactic interaction, contact with the Galactic Federation. There's a few federations as well, I must note. And so it's not like there's one organization and that is just like ruling the entire solar system or galaxy or even, the universe. It's not like that. There are few organizations working together in different capacities to keep not only our solar system safe here, but everything around it and the planet as well. Because what's happening on this planet is a huge experiment. We've already succeeded with that experiment, and that is putting a planet that's been pulled into a lower frequency right back up organically so out of that frequency. And it's so difficult when you have this level of manipulation that we've had on the planet. It's not easy. So this is happening organically. We are succeeding. We're doing amazingly well. The Cabal's running, they just, at the point where it's like over. And we're about to restore a much more peaceful level of interaction, more respect on this planet. Now, there's still a lot of work to do. I'm not saying it's all done, but we are making good progress. And there's a lot of people that are, and the frequency on the planet can be measured. These malevolent ETs that have been interfering with the planet, they can feel that, they can sense that, they can register what the frequency is, how it's risen. Remember, their tech is much more advanced than ours, so we don't even, we know it intuitively, but we don't know the technical aspect of that, the advanced technology that they have to determine those things. So anyway, there's been like a couple of infiltrators over a few years now, but it's starting to come up and bubble to the surface now. People are turning on one another, blaming this one. And as we become wiser, as we get more information, as we evolve, both spiritually and mentally on this planet, we know more, we feel more, we sense more, and we can cut through the BS, right? And that's very important, because that's how you cultivate discernment. So right now you can see some splitting going on in the galactic contactee community. I'm just going to call it like that. And people turning on one another. And, I've been saying for years now, the one lady that has been sort of, for lack of a better word, kind of wanting to lead the charge in this respect, saying she's an emissary of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Well, I've not resonated with that person for at least 2.5 years. I've lost track of time. There's another person who's a super soldier, turned galactic historian and authority on galactic information and history. I've actually had this person on my planet a few years ago before I realized, oops, I can't trust this message anymore, because often these people can't help themselves. They will say something that will just make you think like, what? You're the king of what? Of this planet or that planet, or you are like the anointed person. Whenever they speak like that, you must know. Well, actually, you mustn't even know. You must run a mile, because true evolved galactic beings don't speak like that. There is no division. There's no class system. This spiritual elitism, which I've spoken about before, is the complete opposite of where, of where we need to be in terms of our own evolution. Because in 5D and beyond, there is no division. They operate from a love frequency, this sense of competition, division. This one is better than that one, proving oneself, the blind ambition. These things are not in alignment with the new earth at all. Unfortunately, there has been sort of a section of the spiritual galactic community that have been anointed themselves as some sort of elite within that sector. And one has to really be careful of that, because there is no such thing. Okay, we're all equally important. We all have a unique role to play in this transition. Most of us are not from here. We've had experiences on other planets. We have missions here. We're equally important. So people that tell you that they hold all the information, you have to listen to them. Well, just actually believe the opposite. You'll be much better off. And it needs to be said. There is like a backbiting going on in this community that has become extremely unacceptable, in my opinion, because it's only going to take us a few steps back. All the progress that we've made in this community in our lives, and it's just going to send us back a couple of kilometers, if you will, and in the wrong direction. So we have to get rid of this. We have to really understand, or stop following people like they're some sort of god or leader or whatever. Of course, there are leaders out there, but leaders don't lead from the ego. Real leaders lead through example and through inclusion and through uplifting those around them, not telling you that they are the bee's knees and you have to follow them, even if it's not in that many words, but if that's what they're implying. So we have to be extremely careful and discerning right now. Even if you do not know if you can trust the person or not, just listen to the information and see how that makes you feel. Does it resonate with you? Does it make you feel uncomfortable in the pit of your stomach? Does it make you feel uneasy? Does it make you feel like, oh, I'm not so sure? If you're not so sure, well, then you shouldn't be listening to it. That's one thing that I can say. So this is a time where we really have to sharpen our discernment. And if something does not resonate, simply switch it off and move on. You are much better not listening to anything than you are in listening to bad information. Even if it sounds very positive, it's things that maybe you want to hear. You want it to be so, but it's not realistic. It doesn't quite make sense. And in the end, it's only going to damage your own progress. So understand that or understand that and really switch on your psychic eyes, switch on your intuition. If you feel like you can't listen to someone, but they have important information, so you actually need to listen to them, don't listen to them, because you, at the end of the day, also create your own reality. So if you buy into that information, even on a very, it can affect you on a very subconscious level, even, so just switch it off, is my advice. There's another person, a voice note that came out today that was shared, and I have to just say something about that as well. Somebody in the medbed community that has been speaking as an authority, self-appointed, I might add, because nobody appointed them, but they some sort of self-appointed key agent on medbeds, the information around it, how it's going to work, the release of that, the access, etc. Yeah, personally, I've just not been able to listen to that person the last 3 years. It just, like, my soul will not be able to listen to that person. It'll just switch it off for me in my mind. So I don't go there because I listen to my intuition. I'm not at the level where I'm concerned, oh, I might miss something, so let me listen to this and that and this, everything. It's like white noise. What is really the truth? You just get more confused. So if you are feeling confused, just rather switch all of it off. Just go within. Listen to your inner voice. What does it tell you? In any event, we have like an infinite well of information inside of us, information and wisdom, which comes from the higher self. So, you'd be better off spending all that time that you spend on listening to actually practicing and training to get in touch with that inner voice, that inner knowing. To start switching on your psychic abilities so that you can tap into your own well of wisdom, not somebody else's. You don't have to trust anyone else's. So anyway, this person was saying, there's a portal today on the 6th of June, okay? But she was basically saying, in the next 48 hours, it's very important, we're going to be like ascending to 5D in the next 48 hours. And if you don't during this time, it means that you weren't meant to ascend, and then it's kind of over, you're stuck in 3D. And that's all good, though. That's where you're meant to be. Can you imagine how devastating that would be for the star seeds? Because in 48 hours, I can tell you now, nothing's going to happen. Okay? There is no quick ascension. This is a gradual process. We get boosts along the way, like in this particular portal. There's an opportunity to enhance this energy, to step into the slipstream, and you can quantum leap forward, but you're not going to ascend in 2 days. Sorry, this ain't going to happen. That is just utter BS, and you should know that from the outset. Listening to that, do you really think that's true? The only thing that it's going to cause is for all these star seeds who will, I can tell you now, not go to 5D overnight. It's going to make them feel like a failure. It's going to make them feel hopeless. They might as well give up and go back to 3D and carry on, with whatever. That's what it's going to make them feel. And that is exactly the intention. It's exactly the intention of that kind of information, to make you feel hopeless. Because why? You know, you're not imagining something completely different. You are manifesting a different timeline. They are engineering you to manifest a different timeline for yourself, because you now believe with all you have, or with all your whole being, that it's not going to happen. And that is really what they want. They're trying to hijack the starseed community, okay, by giving them false information, making them feel hopeless because they didn't make it, and to give up, instead of getting into the slipstream where they're going to quantum leap forward. So do not let that happen under any circumstances. Follow your own intuition, follow your own nose, because this can be very, very damaging for your progress. And if that is the case, it's your lesson to learn, and it's all good. But I'm just saying, try not to let things like that happen, because the dark forces on this planet is still out and about. There's a lot of infiltration going on because they're in panic mode. They have seen what's going on this planet. We are making huge progress. So they are trying their best to send all their best infiltrators to slow down this entire process, to slow down the ascension of the entire planet. Okay, Mother Gaia, who is pulsing at the moment because she's busy healing, she's busy purging. And within that healing process, within our sacred healing process, they are just putting a stick in that wheel and preventing that, that movement forward. So this is very important, guys. I just wanted to bring you that information. That's not going to happen. There is no one galactic organization running or in charge of this planet. And in fact, also what I've come to learn, and what Dr. Sala from Exopolitics have also now been saying after, and I do respect him for following his own independent thinking on this and not being influenced by other people. There isn't one organization. It's not like, oh, the Galactic Federation of Worlds is in charge and they are leading this entire process. There are other organizations out there that are more spiritual in nature. Like, we often speak about the Galactic Federation of Light, okay, which some people in this industry have said is complete BS because it has to be a military organization. That is BS, because this is a spiritual war. And this is a spiritual process. And we are winning this war through that spiritual process, not through guns, not through missiles, not through bombs. This war is won through spiritual refinement and choosing a peaceful solution, pursuing a peaceful solution to the problem that we have on Earth, not a, military action. We've tried that. We've tried fighting fire with fire for millennia. It doesn't work. It always causes more trauma. It always dumps us back into duality, back into, hating one another. It just doesn't work. So at which point do you actually say, okay, this isn't working. We have to try something different. The spiritual way is the way, because if you don't give those negative beings any attention, or the systems that they've created, if we remove our energy from that and rather focus on the beauty that lies ahead, guess what? Those systems, those people will fall because they don't have anything. There's no loosh to feed on for them. There's not enough loosh for them to feed on. There's not enough people that support their iconic systems that they've created and that is currently running the planet, including the financial system, the big farm, the medical system, all of the systems that are currently in this planet, and which is in the process of collapsing. They're all in the process of collapsing. It's not going to be overnight. Some of them may take a couple of months or years to transition or to be phased out. But we are in that process. We are in a position that we've never been before on this planet. We can see the glimmer on the horizon of new Earth. We can see the dawn of new Earth on the horizon. that beautiful golden glimmer on the horizon. That's not just some silly New Age speak. That's an analogy for where we are in reality on this planet. So I know that this sounds like a bit of a negative message, but it really needs to be said. And we have to learn that, division is not the way. False prophets is not the way. Um, Following people like they are some sort of, God is not the way. We are doing this together. Anyone who makes you feel small is not a New Earth leader, and they are not somebody that has your best interests at heart. That is the honest truth. What else can I say? So there's a few people that I can, sort of maybe on one hand say, these are people that you should avoid, but hey, I'm not going to mention names, as I said. I don't want to be attacked. But I think for many of you, you can guess who I'm speaking to about. And I would just say, switch on your psychic abilities, feel it through your gut, okay? And trust your own intuition. That's all I can say. That's all you need. So, they come forth with messages of fear, or that sounds like really secret intel that only they have. And they even profit. And you can see a lot of these people even have massive followings. They have massive followings because those followings have been boosted, okay, by these malevolent powers. There's ways and means of doing that. And they have done that. That's why they have, in many cases, such a large following. And a lot of people follow them because they have a large following. So they think, oh, this person must really know what they're talking about because they have, 200,000 followers. So let's follow them because they clearly know what they're talking about. They clearly have, the scoop on what's going on in the galactic arena or whatever it may be. So just be careful of those people and just listen to your intuition, It's amazing to me also that they've influenced some of their peers in the industry as well. So they often will befriend someone to validate and give them credibility. And so it becomes this process of, the one kind of validating the other and vice versa. So it doesn't mean because one person thinks that you do trust, thinks that they are amazing and now you must follow them. It doesn't matter because that person could be making a mistake. That person could have maybe not sensed that counterintelligence, because often the people that they use, and often you will find malevolent ETs behind them, like the Greys or reptilians even, these are the ones that control these people. And often these people don't even know they're being used. They're being fed this information, which they think is truthful and believable and has credibility. And that's why sometimes they can come across as very authentic because they themselves believe it. So you have to be careful of that. You may feel that this person is truthful, they have integrity, but if they have been compromised, and that can happen on many different levels, they might have, some sort of auric leak where somebody has just infiltrated their aura. So there's an attachment, or somebody could even hijack their consciousness. This is possible. They could even have been replaced. These things happen. So just listen to your heart and your gut. So, even if the information is exactly what you want to hear, but ask yourself, is it realistic? Is what they're saying realistic? Use your logical mind together with your gut brain, your head brain and your gut brain. Use those two together and then filter through your heart, and you will know the truth instantly. So these people are not of the real light. They are either deceived, infiltrated, or false light. And humanity is in a vulnerable state at this point because they're not quite there yet. They can still be distracted. They can still be led down the wrong path. And especially for the ones, that started awakening maybe later. They haven't had that many years to assimilate all the information and develop their discernment, because that's also a muscle, right? It's not like you just have it. It's like a child learning to walk. He's going to stub his toe like how many times and fall on his head even a couple of times before he learns to walk. And even when he does, he's still going to fall down. You've all seen a 2-year-old, in the house. All he wants to do is run around, but he has no clue how to navigate the stairs, and he's just going to fall on his head. So, but sometimes you've got to let them make these mistakes because that's how they learn. Otherwise, they won't learn. So again, a lot of the people in this community sometimes need to make those mistakes so they can develop their own discernment, because you only learn it through trial and error, right? That's how you learn discernment. You make mistakes. You learn from that. But I just feel like humanity is at a very vulnerable state right now. And I have to just send that warning out to people to say, just trust yourself. If it all gets too much and you can't make out the wood from the trees, you don't know what's true and what's not, and you're getting very confused, switch it all off. There's also a lot of influence coming from these devices. There's all sorts of manipulation tactics that they put in the tech that we use as well. So manage your time on these devices and things. Have times where you just switch them off and you connect directly with your soul, because that's also where you develop that conversation, that relationship with your higher self that is there to guide you. Your higher self is just waiting for you to ask for the guidance or to ask for the help to help develop that connection. They are always there to help. So let me see what else I've missed. Okay, one thing I just want to say is also, these people will often play on your emotions, and they will use empathy, and they will make you feel like they really care about you. This is a telltale sign as well. I'm not saying anyone that comes across like they care about you is an infiltrator, but just be careful, mindful of that, because your heart wants to connect with people naturally, because that's our human nature. So they manipulate that aspect, and they use empathy and to manipulate your emotions. And they know what we are looking for. Like medbeds, for example. We all know people that are not well, that are not sick. Often it's loved ones. We want that medbed for them, right? So we want to believe it's going to be released tomorrow. But is that realistic? No. The medical industry will have to be coming down first. There's a lot that needs to happen. I don't think it's going to work right now to release it, at least not on a public scale. We know it's already available behind the curtain, but on a public scale, I don't think we're ready, unfortunately. So you've got to be realistic about these things as well. Like, think it through. If it were to be released tomorrow, think through what would happen to the medical industry, pharma industry. There are still players in those industries that are powerful. They've not all been taken out. It's still in that process, even though they are just puppets for, other beings behind them, but they think it's real. They've been disconnected from their soul. So they believe big pharma is the way to go to save humanity. They fully believe that in some cases. So they will fight that kind of technology with all they have. So I think there's been people in this industry that have been very, very consistent and very, very measured. They're not coming out with, oh, this is sensational, this is happening, and this is happening. And they're very, very measured and tempered with the information and responsible with the information that they deliver. And you have to respect that. more than the ones that give you all the juice, right? Isn't it much better to have that sort of tempered information? People like Dr. Michael Sala, for how many years have he's been at it? And he was ousted as a professor in his own, he was basically kicked out of his own university and job for raising these kinds of subjects that was not supported by both the powers that be and his peers. But he's been consistent and he's proven to be an independent thinker no matter what. So is it possible that somebody like that's also been fooled? Yes, So we all sometimes can be a bit naive or lack discernment, but still to be consistent and not to just trust blindly that somebody's giving you all the information that is out there. Doing your own research, interviewing other people with other points of views to find the truth. That's what I appreciate, So he is, he cannot be bought or controlled, in that sense. So you have to respect that. Who's the other person? Oh, somebody like Alex Collier as well. Can see that guy's got integrity. And he's been doing this for many, many years under very difficult circumstances. And again, he's not like giving you all the hopium. He's very measured in the information that he brings you. It's realistic. It's not unrealistic, pie in the sky things. And I'm not saying those things are not possible, but it takes time. Our planet is not going to ascend, complete its ascension fully in the next year. It just ain't going to happen. Will there be a part of Earth that may be, ascending? Yes, but it will be potentially another timeline playing out. Also, people that don't even talk about timelines. Well, this is a timeline war as well, temporal wars, as they call it. So people that don't even speak about that, well, I don't know. Just I don't trust it because I feel like timelines play a huge role, and there's definitely a splitting of timelines happening. So you have to make sure that you buy into the right timeline, and you do that with your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, as I said before. The things that you think about when you lie in bed, if you wake up in the morning, what you dream about, what you daydream about, these are the things that you're going to start bringing into your reality. And that's ultimately how your timeline is created, your individual timeline. You also have a collective timeline. But your thoughts and emotions are very, very important. So do not allow anyone to make you lose hope, to make you feel like you should be doubting what's going on, or that you're not doing as well as you thought you were doing, or that things are going to all go to hell in a handbasket in the next. Just don't give that any energy. Like, don't give it any oxygen. Just don't. It's like, be like tunnel vision. Okay. We're focusing on new earth, what's positive and what's to come. Don't worry about the falling buildings behind you. You just keep your, what do you call those things, on, and you just focus and be very, very disciplined with your own attention, what you give your attention to, right? I just want to say also about Dr. Salah. He's been very ill as well over many months. It's our belief that he might have been attacked, psychically and otherwise. So please hold him in your thoughts. He's been doing amazing work for this community. Pray for him that he will get better, and hold him safe in a bubble of light and love. And we wish him well. I just also have to speak about the other issue, or sort of psyop, shall I say, in the geopolitical arena. Just last night, we had this bomb drop, the psyop of all psyops, that Elon Musk is now saying, oh, Trump is on the Epstein list. It started with his black eye. We knew something was coming, right? Something was heading our way that was, we knew something was up when he had that black eye. And he acted very strangely. But of course, this is all theater. Okay. And Trump, responding as well. And they had this huge feud online on X. Do you really think two grown men in a military operation of this caliber is going to fight it out on X? So, but it served its purpose, right? Because now the Looney Tune Democrats, I don't really like to talk about the two parties because I think all party systems must go, but they have been demanding now the Epstein list must be released. And they've just been slow walking it and then ignoring it, and the media didn't want to cover it. Now they want it. So the SIPE has succeeded in getting everyone's attention. So it will be interesting to see what comes next. Apparently, Putin has said he will negotiate a peace agreement between the two, and they're going to be meeting tonight. So, wow, that was like a bomb that dropped last night and kept everyone in this community on the edge of their seats. But it's perhaps the trump card, who knows? So, my advice is just to, just reserve judgment. Don't jump to conclusions. You see something on X, oh, you jump to conclusions. No, be calm and say, okay, that looks a bit weird, but let me see how this unfolds. Let me just watch from a distance to see how this is all going to unfold. Don't jump to conclusions, even if it's only to prevent egg on your face, if nothing else, But again, just to pull your attention into different directions. Just, I don't know, there's like an inner knowing, like inner trust that you need to develop, that things will just go in the right direction. We've been so traumatized here on earth that we always think, oh, I'm going to be fooled. I shouldn't be trusting anyone because, they're just going to do a fast one again. So I better not trust anything or anyone. Those are the black pillars. So, when you have developed your own spiritual sense, when you have worked on your own intuition, you have that inner knowing. You just know instantly when something is out there, whether it rings true or not, whether it resonates with you or not. And that really is the key. Does it resonate with you or not? I've said this before. Your higher self will literally never let you down. That's your biggest ally. And your connection to the higher self is through your intuition and your inner connection. There's no external connection that can do that for you. So things are getting extremely interesting. June is said to be the biggest of all months this year. And it's literally just been escalating and escalating and escalating. Every month getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So get ready for big shakeups this month in June, for the better. Things have to be shaken. And do not forget, there's this window of opportunity between this portal, the 6th of the 6th, and the solstice on the 21st, to go deep within and level up, take things to the next level. I think the energies are going to calm down a little bit. So we have that integration phase of all of the light information that we've received, all of the upgrades we've been receiving, little upgrades, and just integrate it. And then we have the full moon coming up. So these are all interesting sort of markers that we can use to our advantage. So with that, I wish you much love and light, and I will speak to you very soon.